Hey guys, I'm Coach Ty with MuscleWiki. We're bringing you the seated dumbbell shoulder press today. So what does the seated dumbbell shoulder press train? Well, of course, the shoulders, but not your entire shoulder. So primarily your anterior or the front of your deltoid, and then secondarily your lateral deltoid, but the anterior deltoid to a much more significant degree. So for your shoulder training, you can consider this all the front delt work that you'll need in one day. So there's not really much need to combine a shoulder press with a front raise, hypothetically, in one workout. You've already trained your anterior delts. And you should also know the anterior delt is involved heavily in any horizontal pressing that you do. So if you bench press, if you dumbbell press, push-ups, pec flies in particular, will also train your anterior delt. That's why the anterior delt is one of the most overtrained muscles on the body. When you bench press and shoulder press and front raise and pec fly and punch, if you do boxing or Muay Thai or some type of fight sport, a lot of anterior delt work. So again, make sure you don't do all those exercises on top of each other. Okay, I am here with Coach Extraordinaire Andrea, and we're gonna be taking you through the proper form on a dumbbell seated shoulder press. So first thing is using your legs. Now these are lighter dumbbells for the sake of our demonstration, but when you've got some heavy weights here, you wanna use your legs to help you get the dumbbells up into position. So what I like to do, use that leg to help lift into position. And then here, we want to be at a roughly 45-degree angle. So we don't want the elbows pulled all the way out here because that puts a lot of stress on that shoulder joint. There's too much stress on the shoulder joint. So here you still get all the benefits of a shoulder press, and you also can get a little bit of a longer range of motion here instead of being here where the dumbbell will tap on your shoulder. So we want to be here. Make sure you have strong wrists. It's very easy to get a broken wrist. Strong wrist. And then you're gonna extend at the elbows straight toward the ceiling and then back down. Try your best to not push forward when you're performing this exercise. You wanna press straight toward the ceiling. So imagine you're trying to touch your fist to the ceiling. Perfect. And then back down. Now, how low should you go on an overhead press? Let's go ahead and knock out. Let's do 4 more. You count these. 1. I forgot my point. Hold on, pause. What was I just saying? Okay, how low should you go on your overhead press? Well, I would tell you to base it on what feels comfortable. So going all the way down to this point might give you some shoulder pain. If it does, stop a little bit short. You won't lose too much on the exercise by stopping a few inches higher than you would otherwise go. You just want to try to get the longest range of motion that your shoulder joint mobility will allow for. Okay, now let's go ahead and knock out. Let's do the 6. 1. It's about there. Yep, perfect. 2. Make sure you keep your spine in complete contact with the bench. As you fatigue, it can be very easy to start arching at your back and pointing your ribs up. Again, your nervous system is very smart. It knows that you're stronger pushing horizontally than you are vertically, so your nervous system will start to put you in a horizontal position. And we'll come back to that in the do not part of the video. Number we on? Perfect. Down, and then bring these dumbbells back down to your legs instead of throwing them off of you like some gym bros like to do. We don't want to break anyone's foot, okay? And that's it. That's it. Commonly asked question: the difference between doing a barbell seated shoulder press and dumbbells. Well, first thing is your freedom of movement. So with a barbell, of course, you're in a very fixed position. Your wrists, elbows, and shoulders all have to basically move as the barbell moves. You don't have a whole lot of freedom of movement. Whereas with dumbbells, you can Arnold press, you can do a neutral grip, you can come out here, 45 degrees, so on and so forth. So with the added freedom of movement, you get a slightly longer range of motion with dumbbells, but also if you're getting joint pain from doing a barbell shoulder press, then dumbbells will likely be your best friend. So again, if you're getting shoulder pain, wrist pain, or elbow pain from shoulder pressing, try out the dumbbells. moving on to our do nots. Number 1, letting your range of motion get too short. This is probably the most common mistake on any overhead press, not fully extending the elbows. We don't want to go so high that we hyperextend the elbows, but we do want to get more extended than this. You see, I would say this is maybe like a half range of motion, or maybe like 5/8, something like that. So we want to get those elbows up. Number 2, hyperextending the lower spine. I put an arrow at her lower back here. This also is very common, and you'll see people arching their back in order to get the weight up. As I said earlier in the video, your nervous system knows you're stronger pressing horizontally than vertically. So you'll start to arch so you can press horizontally. And then finally, pressing forward instead of up. Now, this usually comes as a result of lacking in shoulder joint mobility. Usually people doing this don't have the ability to press vertically. I would say if you're one of those people, then try to find an alternative exercise to the overhead press. And yes, there are some good alternatives, the full lateral raise in particular. That's the dumbbell seated shoulder press. Thank you guys as always for listening. Thank you, Andrea, as always. And we'll see you with the next one. Deuces.
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 I like it.